Hello, 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 and welcome everyone to our 5th episode of Beneath the Surface, Tabletop Tempest's first ever actual play in the TTRPG scene. I am Kris, your game master, storyteller, pronouns they, she, and I am beyond delighted to say that our cast members, both on and off screen, are either immigrants or children of an immigrant themselves. And I could not be happier to have every single person here. Together, we are going to be bringing you a story inspired by Brazilian folklore that explores nuances of living abroad while your ancestry is located in a place, maybe another country, maybe another city, maybe close, maybe far away. Some of these players is a little bit different. But speaking of players, I would first like my players to introduce themselves and who they are playing, and we're going to be starting with Claire.
My name is Clare, my pronouns are she, her, and I will be playing Carmen Pereira, pronouns also she, her.
Passing it off to our lovely Danny.
Hey y'all, my name is Danny, my pronouns are he, him, and today I will be playing Myto Bui, whose pronouns are they, them, or any as they are beyond gender, because they are the brain, and they do not extrapolate information in such a binary way. Oh, also, they have a pet named Stitches, and if you don't know Stitches by now, then go back to episode 1 and learn who Stitches is.
And Stitches comes with a lot of questions. Passing it off to my fellow Latino, Victor.
Hello, everybody. I am Victor, pronouns he, him, and I am playing Orúno Munín, whose pronouns are also he, him. Very excited to be here.
Passing it up to Val.
Hello, everybody. My name is Valiant Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns, and tonight I have the distinct pleasure of playing Gabriel Zhao, who uses he, they pronouns, and I'm playing the Scion playbook.
And last but not least, we have the lovely sibling to Val's character, played by Jay.
Hi everyone, my name is Nala or Jay. I go by both. My pronouns are they, them, and I am playing Tamsyn Zhao, who uses she and they pronouns, and I am the legacy.
And what a legacy Tamsyn left us off on last episode. But before we get to that, just a quick thank you. We are using the Masks TTRPG system. You heard the word playbook thrown around a lot. Because of that, I'd like to thank Magpie Games specifically for partnering with us for this campaign. They have provided us a few copies of the source book that we are playing, and we will be giving those away in future episodes. Also, our official dice sponsor for this entire show, Smoking Glue Guns. They have not only made dice for our players that I have in this box now, but we will also be giving away 2 of those sets of dice in future episodes, so be on the lookout for that. I need to take a really good picture to send to my players later because most of them haven't seen how beautiful they look yet. But doing it again. It's gonna be my new thing. So, are my players ready to dive in? Okay. We are gonna start this episode away from the scene that we left off on, back through those double doors that our lovely little Myto and Stitches went through. You see on this huge monitor in front of you with equipment just at the desk that you've been fiddling with, scattered. You see and hear the cries of Tamsyn before she lets out this earth-shattering wail. And you, feeling the earth that was shaking beneath your feet for the last few minutes, in the blink of an eye on this monitor in front of you, you see the stone box break open, shatter open, fly through the ceiling. The monitor camera from inside the box that you were viewing Tamsyn through phases out and turns to static. And as one of the walls from the stone box flies towards you, you see the camera of the arena cut off, and you are left with nothing but static and silence in the room.
I think as the ground shakes and then that final wall just kind of crashes everything to black, everything on the table and kind of scattered around just has one rumble. And Myto looks over at Stitches, and Stitches has this like whiteboard that has been like scribbled notes in a dialect, a language, a symbology that kind of only Myto and Stitches could probably decipher. But Stitches kind of drops the pen, and we just kind of look at each other, and Myto looks around the room and it's like, Yara, was that supposed to happen? Are they okay? Can you hear me?
And you don't hear anything.
Okay. Myto takes a second, looks at the board. Is there anything that has switched on, or does anything look different in front of them?
You see that where you had seen that red button before, it's starting to faintly glow red again, because when you had pushed it the last time, the light had gone out. But as it's slowly starting to glow more red, you see kind of off in this little tucked off corner of the desk is this small green little, kind of about the size of a handprint panel that almost looks like a hand itself had been imprinted on it, that it's starting to like slowly fade in and out green.
Because Stitches was the one that pressed the button, Myto snaps their finger twice, and as Stitches kind of runs over and perches up on Myto's shoulder, Myto kind of is still confused because they don't feel like anything would be life-threatening right now, and is like looking at Stitches and takes a moment. It's like, so you pressed the button last time. Would you want to try to press it again? Just, yeah, go press that button again. See what happens. And send Stitches over to smash the red button first.
Smash the red button first?
Yeah.
Okay. He goes over and smashes the red button, and you hear over the intercom Yada's voice. Oh, okay, did something go wrong? You emergency called me in. I'm looking at the screen. There's nothing on the screens. Myto, are you okay?
Yeah, wasn't this all part of the experiment? You sound a little stressed.
Well, remember how I said the stingray earlier? Yeah, some of the kids were chasing after it, and then I had to go get them away, and then one of the kids got stung, and one of the elders had to come over and pee on it because I'm not comfortable peeing on a child. So her mom came over, peed on the stingray sting, and so it's just been a lot. So I was looking away from the camera, but fully trusted you. But now,
Sorry to interrupt, but just please don't pee on stingray wounds. The urea actually burns it more, so it'll make the kids cry more. Just throwing that out there. I'm not trying to overstep my boundaries. They aren't my kids, but they are family, and maybe go to an expert if you can.
And you hear her go, oh yeah, okay, and then just kind of like when somebody puts the phone to their chest, and you hear this muffled talking, and then she gets back on the line. Well, that's good to know. We learn something new every day. So what's going on? Why are the screens all gone?
So yeah, me and Stitches, we're coming up with these gadgets that we really think could help the team, and then the ground started shaking, and then Tamsyn yelled, but I think it was a real yell. They couldn't get hurt in the arena, right?
No, nothing that could have happened to them would have hurt them. Everything that they would have faced was something that they could have easily overcome as long as they pushed past something that was difficult for them to normally do.
Okay.
I know Tamsyn specifically, because the stone box may have been designed by me. The box was meant to push Tamsyn to work alone.
Okay. Well, I think your experiment worked, but you might have overcorrected because and then Myto kind of like points to the screen. Tamsyn's power might have messed all of this up. I don't know. I can't see. Are the trials over? Can I take 3 steps back and ask, why did you create all this? And Myto is like pointing at these futuristic, the setup that mimics his at home, but like is completely like seventh generation, like never seen before. And it's just like, how did you do this? And is there a reason why? And Myto kind of takes a pause, and she kind of takes a breath, and it's like, is there a reason why you don't bring this to the real world?
And you kind of, it's like you hear this faint typing for a moment. Hold on, I have an answer for this. And you see the screen come back up, but not in those split monitor, kind of like the split screen monitor setup that it was before. It's the top level, and you're seeing the arena from almost the top of the dome. And it zooms in to those the faces and the portraits that are just below the dome encircling the Colosseum. And it kind of just starts panning through. And you hear Yada's voice on the line. So all of these pictures that were up there before, they are your ancestors, the people that came before even me, the hundreds, a couple of them maybe even more than 1,000 years ago. This Colosseum has existed for as long as our family has, and has been a place where those who ingested the Mylen, who developed these sort of powers, could practice them in a safe space. And these are all people who have practiced here, who have passed on. And again, you see people of all ages. You see like young children, older people, but none of these faces you recognize from your own knowledge or even from flipping through the scrapbook. And she said, the powers of giving everyone the opportunity to test their own powers relies so much on engineering and so much on pushing people and us past the limits that we are capable of, that requires the machinery. So there's been a practice passed down of gadgetry. Of some people go into hacking, some people go into kind of what you did, bioengineering. And the people who taught me passed down the practice of engineering these sort of entrapments that can help those who do have the Mylen practice. And like we saw with Tamsyn, how far they can push themselves and to see how strong their powers really are. So the reason why it's not up there has been a fight with me and Taina, because she, as the village elder, has not wanted this amount of engineering to be known to everyone, because of what she saw with the, how do we put it, the greed with the Mylen itself. She's worried that if we were to bring this into the real world, times the greed that we've seen in the past with the Mylen, times hundreds of thousands. So it's kind of been the village elder's choice whether or not it gets brought up to the real world. And right now, the decision has been not. I do get on her every now and again, because as fellow, and if you were to kind of see her, if she had glasses, she would be doing like the glasses push up as well, the matter of fact look. But those of us that are engineers, of course, we believe that things like this should be readily available for the greater community. But sometimes, whether it's a family or business colleagues, it's just not the way people want it to go.
And this whole time, Myto was just kind of taking notes on this like high-tech transparent thing. And at one point, they just like circle the Mylen like 5 times. Yara, not that I wasn't listening to you, and I was. I'm a very good listener, and I took a whole bunch of notes. But the Mylen, is that something that we should be worried about? Not in the fact that we know something is wrong with it, but... And Myto kind of looks over at Stitches and like looks up, almost like picturing his family in the arena, and is like, is this something that, well, when we die, and Myto voices kind of trails, why us? Why our family? Couldn't we just be normal and help the people around us? And why were we chosen? Like, what is how far does this go back? Can't we just outsource this information and pass it on to somebody else? And like at this point, Myto has gripped the pencil a little bit tighter and is like has put the tablet down and is just like kind of reassessing the chaos around the room and how they were super excited to start creating gadgets to help out their team, and has kind of taken a step back and thinking about it pragmatically, like why these 5 20 to 30 somethings, like what the heck is happening? And it's like, Yara, is there anything, do we have to do this? What if we say no?
You can say no. And you hear, you don't even need an assess the situation roll. You can hear her voice almost like a hint of sadness now. And she continues, you can't say no. The reason why you 5 specifically is that the elders believe that it's almost this coming of age moment. Now, not every generation has a moment even remotely like yours. A lot of times the coming of age celebration is just once you all are of a certain age, there's a party that is able to be thrown at the reunion. But the last couple reunions, as you guys have probably heard already, the last couple of reunions they've been a bit more bleak because the outsourcing of the Milan has happened, and people who were supposed to protect it didn't. And so that may be why you've seen Taina and myself and some others become even more protective of it, that we're not seeing it as often, that we're not using it as much, because we did try to outsource it a bit. We tried to see if there were other things we could be using so there wasn't so much reliance on the Milan, and many things have been tried, but most times other avenues have been gone down. Things don't turn out so well, and it's not due to the Milan itself, it's due to greed of others. So what could have been a fun and enjoyable reunion where you were all invited to meet so many of us, it's turned into this because of decisions that were not yours.
Now, don't get me wrong, this is fascinating. And Myto again kind of gets that spark back in their eyes, and it's like, this is just another experiment. This is just, and Myto takes kind of like smiles over at Stitches. This is a new adventure. This has gotten me away from the farm. Is there a way that we can work together after all this is done? What if instead of outsourcing, and Myto takes a second and is looking back at that tablet, what if we reason with the elders, and instead of outsourcing me and you and the other brilliant minds in our ancestry, and is like re-looking at all of the portraits that can't keep panning back and forth on the camera, there has to be more of us out there. If we can take it in-house and we can trust our family, why don't we just do it with the family? Keep it with the family.
And there's this pause, and you hear the faintest of sniffles on the other line, before Yara responds. Been waiting for people to say that, and I would love to do that. And then the excitement starts coming back in her voice. Oh, and then I know Sandra would be on our side, because Sandra always liked keeping it within the family and not the outsourcing. And then we could try talking to, and she just starts like listing a whole bunch of names that you've never heard before. And you're trying to even go back in the scrapbook, and you recognize some of the names that have been like scribbled in the scrapbook with like aunts, uncle, cousin, all people that all of the photos that were of them in the scrapbook were living in the village still. You can see like the ocean behind them, some of the houses that you recognized along the way. And at the end of Yada's, like, I want to say like 15, 20 person list, with what you've done at your grandmother's farm, and then what you've done here, and what you have been able to do with the equipment that's down there, especially since a lot of it is, sorry, it's probably been a little bit of a learning curve with trying to figure out some of these things, because I know it's a little bit more advanced, but not like too much more advanced. I try not to make it too far crazier than what you'd see in the real world, but I think we could make a case to Diana. And I know that you probably have a lot of work back to do at home, but if you wanted to spend summers here, things like that, we could probably help us put it together as well.
That'd be fascinating. And Grandma Luna and Grandpa Io, like, honestly, they need a vacation away from that farm. Do they know about this? And Myto's like pointing around the room, like, and that? Are they? Do they know? Do they know where I am, or know where they? Do their families know where they're at?
No, your parents know that, your grandparents know that you're here, and they know that you were going to receive the Milen, but they don't know that you're here right now. And I will say you can pierce the mask if you want to try.
Yes.
Because you can sense a little bit of, like, you've talked with Yada enough to be like, wait a second.
Yeah. Yeah, Myto's gonna push a little bit. That's an 8, and pierce the mask is
Less mundane.
mundane. I think I'm pretty mundane. Oh no, just an 8.
No? An 8, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have the basic moves in front of you?
Yes.
Okay, you get to ask one, or if there's a different question that makes more sense to what Myto would want to know, you can ask that instead.
Yeah. So one of the questions is, how could I get your character to and fill in the blank? And I want to not necessarily get Yada to tell the truth, but to get Yada to explain what here, when she said, oh, your grandparents know that you're here, just not here. What does that mean? Like, as in, so Myto would push and be like, so when you say here, is that like the colloquial here, or is that like here? In the fact that, like, they know that we're underwater, but they don't know that we are training our powers, or they know that we took the Milan and then we saw the water, or that we are still with you and Uncle looking at scrapbooks, and then we know that we're gonna do all this, or, and Myto takes a pause, none of the above.
And she doesn't even hesitate with you prodding a little bit. They know that you are here in the underwater city. They don't know that you are here in the Colosseum or in this room.
Okay. Well, just so you know, I know a lot of families act differently, but we do have an open truth policy that we enact at home. And this started when I was about 2 to 3 years old, and I got a hold of the English language, and I could communicate very clearly. And ever since then, I kind of demanded that. And I know it's a little rude in the Western sense to overstep boundaries of elders and stuff, but we try to keep a pretty open line of communication. So how come they don't? Is there a reason that they don't know that I'm in here?
And there's a deep breath as she goes, your grandparents were too stressed out by some of the things that happened with your aunts and uncles. But what that was about, I can't really talk about right now. Diana can probably tell you more.
Are you sure? Because when I was having breakfast with them before we left, all Grandpa was stressed about was getting Grandma a gift. They seemed excited.
I guess the excitement hasn't hit yet. Or the reason for it.
That sounds like cryptic language, and we just talked about direct communication.
And then you just hear her again take a sharp inhale. Yep, direct communication. Been really good at that. Something's coming up on my end, and I promise obviously this is something I need to work on, direct communication. And maybe that's something you could also teach me a little bit about, because this family's not very great at it. But I think I see that stingray coming right back. Let me know if you need anything. If you get too stressed, there's that green button. Oh, and also, I'm not gonna lock you in there forever. And you hear a as this, not like another button, an exit button, literally red button that says exit, appears right next to the doors that had locked you in. So whenever you want to go, you can head out, and yep, direct communication, absolutely gonna work on that. Say hi to Stitches for me, and just don't stay away from Irasima sometimes. She's a little weird. And it's almost like she catches her breath before saying something, before you just hear a puffed out bye, and the line goes dead.
Yeah, that's not how stingrays act. Their habitual nature is to run away after they sting. What the button, and looks over at the other button next to the door and looks over at Stitches. I think you heard that, but Yara says hi. And there might be something up with Grandma and Grandpa. And Myto takes like a really, really long pause. One more time analyzing this ancestry that is like panning across the screen. And secrets in the family. Secrets and science usually don't mix, do they, Stitches? And Myto holds their hand out as kind of Stitches takes some apprehensive steps. Okay. You're a really good button presser. Let's gather up this stuff and maybe, okay, I'll stand over here and you press the button by the door and we'll see what happens. And Myto starts kind of gathering the gadgets and the gear that they've been experimenting with while watching their family go through these intense trials, and makes one more eye contact with Stitches and is like, actually, come here, buddy, and gives Stitches one more kiss. Sorry, I love you, and I know I said direct communication, but you know I'm not good with emotional direct communication, but you know I love you, right? You know I love you. And okay, I love you. Okay, now you can go press the button. But if you die, you know I'll bring you back. Okay. Go press the button. And Myto just kind of takes one more big breath, and as Stitches approaches the door to press the button, they take a halfway confident step towards the door.
The camera pans out of those two double doors. Gabriel, Orúno, and Carmen. The sense of calm you had all felt this entire time, that the box, and no sign of Tamsyn or William, the whole time the box was in front of you. This sense of calm starts dissipating as the stone you're seated on begins to shake slowly to near uncontrollably alongside the ground beneath your feet. As the calming is leaving your body, you feel your heartbeat begin to spike up again as you hear faint cries for help in the distance, echoing the halls in Tamsyn's voice, and a cry coming from the box itself. The camera pulls away from you three and Irasima and goes to the opposite side of the box where the cry is coming from, but where you three couldn't see. And we see the camera pulling inside the box, Tamsyn. Your hands are trembling as you let out that last cry for help, and your hands beginning to shake almost as hard as the ground does beneath your feet. You feel tears begin to fill up your eyes and start streaming down your cheeks, and the camera sees one travel down to your chin and fall from your face. The camera follows this teardrop, and we see as it makes impact with the ground. And in this moment, the camera pulling back to see all of you, Tamsyn, in this box, standing over William, you hear a swirl, a swoosh, a boom of sounds as the stone wall, with the hole you were crying out through, flies from your grasp and into one part of the Colosseum. You feel your hair fly above your head as another loud swoosh sound is both heard and felt as you see the top of the stone encampment breaking the ceiling of the dome itself above you. The other stone walls to the left and right of you and behind you either crumbling into dust or falling down backwards. And you feel your breath held for a moment as you turn your face downward and a few more tears drop onto William's face. But instead of the fear that you just saw looking up at you, you start to see glimpses of joy and hope and peace as his irises have grown almost the size of his eye itself. And from the corner of your eye, you see your cousins holding on to the sides of the stone seats they were seated upon.
William, are you okay? Are you okay?
I didn't know you could do that.
I
I'm
didn't-
fine. I'm fine. You're
Are you
fine.
sure?
You're fine.
You sure? Okay. And she goes in for a hug. And will grip him really tight. And I think more tears stream down her face. And she looks around, finally noticing that the entire stone structure has been obliterated. And standing slowly from her kneeling position, she turns around to where her cousins are seated. And her eyes lock with Gabriel. And I think in that moment, almost as if in slow motion, she lets go of William. She lets go of her staff. And it falls and clatters to the ground as Tom runs for Gabriel's arms.
Gabriel does not waste a single heartbeat. He sees you emerge out of it. He heard your cries from behind the stone box, and he was already out of his seat and launching himself in your direction. And as soon as he sees the state of you, you running into his arms, he just holds you so tightly as he calls out to you, Tom, are you okay? Are you okay? What's happened? What's happened?
I'm okay. I will be
Okay.
okay.
You're okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. I'm here now. I'm here now.
I don't know what I saw. I don't know what I saw. I'm sorry.
There's nothing to apologize for. It's gonna be okay. This is hard for all of us.
Tell me you got me. Please.
Of course.
Please tell me you
Of
have.
course. Of course I do.
Okay.
Okay. Forever and always. Huh?
Okay.
I love you. You're gonna be okay, and I
sorry.
got you. Don't be sorry.
I'm sorry.
Never be sorry. I'm here. I'm here. And he holds you tighter, Tom. He doesn't move. He doesn't shift from that. His eyes maybe fall away from you, only to see the shattered remains of that box and your stick that has been left forlorn on the ground, but he holds you still. Shh, it's okay. It's okay. I'm here. Your brother's here. We'll be okay. We're going to be okay.
Thank you. I was so scared. I was so scared.
I know. I know. I know you are. I know. I'm sorry I wasn't there.
I'm glad no one was hurt.
I'm glad you're not hurt.
And Tom releases you from her grip on you, and I think just gazes down at her hands, that are still shaking. And she grips her fingers into tight fists and resumes hugging you. And she says, I have no idea what powers I was given, but if I can do that, how can I control
You did
it?
that?
Yes, I just wanted to get out. And I think I look past you towards Carmen and Victor. Not Victor. Towards Carmen and Orúno. Um and eyes locking with the two of you. And I think all you two can see is fear.
I'm going to say that probably Orúno, you're going to see him in motion. Because the moment that you released William and turned to the group, and he spotted William with all the chaos, is that thing where he's almost like his body is moving before his mind is fully processing of, is William okay? Is William okay? And so his body's like slowly step before he's just like, William, and then he just rushes to where William is. He wants to rush to like reach, and it's just a few steps before he gets to him that he actually pauses himself as he remembers the last time that he was close to William and he felt how William was getting weak. And so he sort of keeps himself at a distance, wanting to hold him but not sure, and just looking between William and Tom. And are you okay? Yes, to William.
And you see William has kind of picked himself up a little bit and had just kind of been looking around and walks up to you without saying anything, with like an open hand, like asking for a handhold.
Slight hesitation before he takes it, and it's almost like he's bracing for impact. He's just ready to let go if he feels like anything else is starting to happen like before.
And you hold on to his little tiny fingers wrap around your large hand, and you don't feel anything like last time. Instead, he just starts leading you back towards where Tamsyn and Gabriel are, and as he's talking, stops kind of right next to Tamsyn. I was the most scared I think I've been in a long time, but also...
Sorry.
No, but it also was probably one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. And ironically, and he kind of shakes his head, and one of those little like dark curls comes over his eyes to see it over his face. But also one of the safest I ever felt, if that makes sense.
It doesn't.
It doesn't what?
It doesn't make sense.
I mean, you didn't have powers like a day ago. I'm guessing it was kind of weird when I got him too. I was going into like the head of my dog. That was really weird. And like not really something a 6-year-old, you think it's cool, but it's not. And he kind of trails off for a second before bringing him back. And he looks at you and kind of grabs onto your pinky a little bit, now holding all of Orúno's hand and now kind of the pinky of yours. And kind of leans in, like thinking he's whispering to you, Tamsyn. So if you could keep my brother safe, because I don't really know how much he can do yet, and he might also be super powerful like you, could you maybe... And he kind of starts putting his pinky into yours, like trying to manipulate a pinky promise. If you could, keep him safe a little. And he just like a little smile, like, oh yeah, like she gets it. He's like, yeah, so if you could keep my brother safe. You guys keep each other safe. Looks back at Tamsyn, keep him safe.
Yeah, I can try, but I'll admit I think Tom kind of pulls away from Gabriel for a moment. Is trying to regain her composure. That's the first time I ever have done anything like that, because the earlier tonight we all received these powers. I didn't get any hint as to what this was, and I think my eyes shift over to where my stick is on the ground in the like stone floor of this rubble. And eyes focused on that now, Tom says, and I still don't know what this is for.
I think while they were having that conversation, if possible, Carmen, as Orúno started running towards William, also just like wanted to be helpful and started looking for the stick. Is that something Carmen can see?
Yeah, it's just laying there. Like,
So
you picture when I let go of William to run for Gabriel, I dropped it and it just
yeah. So Carmen goes to pick it up and comes to hand it back to you, and it's like, well, if I'm honest, I don't know if you need the stick, but here. And then like just try to bring some levity, like not good in these kinds of like situations. It's like worst family reunion ever, guys. Like this has got to be down there.
Orúno has a moment where he just says, "First family reunion for me."
Well, I mean, they're not. Sometimes they're awkward, but they're not like this awkward.
Let this not be the standard. Gabriel tries to bring levity to the situation, with a half-cocked smile, and I think squeezes a final reassuring brotherly squeeze on one of your other the shoulder that's furthest from him, Tom, if that's okay with you. And as he does so, his eyes still flit back to the state of the box, the shattering of it, and then his eyes linger on you, Bruno. I think in recognition, maybe, of an experience that you're having, brotherly fear. And I think is trying to model the behavior and squeezing Thompson's shoulder and smiles. This has been a lot. There's so much we have to learn. I think we all just need a little break, maybe cool off together. If Myto can be released from wherever Myto is, where is Myto?
He'll be let out and like you just see William slip his hands out from both the pinky promise and the hand, and you see him just go, you said break, and I think nap, and he just like stretches really quick and kind of arms outstretched, that weird little camera pan where you just see his arms and like your guys' chest up as he stretches and walks through you guys. I'm just gonna let rest over here, and you guys see him walk towards the stone seating where Irasima is no longer there. And as you clock that Irasima has vanished, left, you hear as the double doors open to the room Myto was in before.
You just hear, oh, the button worked. And as the door opens, you just see Stitches like 1 foot off the ground, with a few gadgets just kind of looped around his body. And Myto looks around the room one more time. And does he see anything still glowing, or like is everything just shut off?
You see that green panel with the like metal imprinted hand. And that's still glowing green, but the red siren light is no longer glowing.
So I think she takes a few steps over to it and starts by putting just a finger on and seeing if anything happens.
You put a finger on and you take that deep breath, and as you exhale, you feel no different.
They take another deep breath and then they put 2 fingers where the index and middle are.
You feel your cheek kind of go up a little bit, but nothing else.
And y'all hear from the echoing chamber of this metallic place. I'll be right there. Stitches, go, get out of here. And with one more big breath, Myto just slaps down on this green surface.
Okay. Roll me a 2d6.
Oh. Okay. That's a 7.
That's a 7.
A 6 and a 1 if it matters.
There you go. If you had any conditions for a 7, if you had any conditions, they would be gone. But you now feel, the second you put your hand on there, you see that green glowing light just flash for a second and then vanish as you feel this calm energy fly through your body, starting from your fingertips of the hand you just placed down. And any anxiety you may have felt watching what just happened to Tamsyn, you feel the anxiety leave your body and you feel calm, cool, and collected.
Myto looks at their hand. Does anything?
No.
Nothing's on. Okay, cool.
No.
Myto takes a second and kind of shakes off and grabs the rest of the equipment as they were heading out with Stitches and Stitches, grab that thing, that leather thing on the chair, and you just see Myto kind of come out with this oblong cloth thing wrapped up, and you kind of see gadgets and things just kind of overflowing, and they start running towards the cousins, and they trip and something falls out, and they kind of just drop everything when they make eye contact with everyone, and it's like, wow.
Myto, hold on. And Gabriel starts like walking towards the area you've like clattered everything onto the ground. It's like, here, let me help. Are you okay? And we'll kneel down to help pick things up.
Oh, you can leave it. Are you okay?
I mean, did something fucked up happen to you in that room too? Or did fucked up stuff just happen to like all of us? Which is fine. If you got like the survivor amulet out of this, like that's fine too. But like, did something happen in there, or
Could you?
I mean, you don't have to tell us. Also, just like I'm just trying to get clarity on this whole thing.
They're called immunity idols.
I mean, like I saw it on an Instagram ad one time. I don't know. I don't really watch Survivor, but like, did something happen to you? Or, but you're correct. Immunity idols.
And you do see Myto with like 2 necklaces that are like of gemstones that they are wearing around their neck. But it's like, can you? So I do have these, but I made them just. I thought they looked cute. But what do you mean by fucked up? Were y'all? That. I mean, just so y'all know, that was just an experiment. I think y'all were safe the whole time. And is like looking around at all of you. Oh,
Orúno! I'm not Orúno. Gabriel glances over at Carmen because we had a time together starting this.
Yeah, that was feeling very experiment-like. There was like, I would have liked to know that we were going to be safe. Like that didn't feel. I mean, you didn't do that to us.
Well, And you see Myto glance down at Stitches. I that no. Stitches pressed the button, but it was because it was a flashing button, and that's normally the actions that you take when a button's flashing. That's how we got out here.
Stitches pushed a button and that did that to all of us, or like
No,
I feel like I need more clarity. Like I'm
yeah,
really stupid.
we could see y'all the whole time, and it was really cool because I could see your vitals, and when you got stressed, I could see your blood pressure go up. It was fascinating.
Hold up. How?
That room has some of the most futuristic technology I've ever seen, and believe me, I have really, really good technology. But it felt like home in there.
I am pleased to hear that you found something useful and a growing opportunity behind those doors. You could see our vitals.
Are the doors still open?
They have shut.
Damn.
Orúno is staring at those doors intently.
Yeah, I could see your vitals, and when you were stressed, it was wild. And then when Carmen was like kind of like losing the ability to even think, I could see everything drop, and you could see the blood pressure and the blood oxygen just leave her body. And then you came over, and then your blood pressure went super high. And then Tom, and I look over at Tom. How is Tom reacting to this kind of overexcitement of things?
1,000 yards staring. And occasional sniffles.
Well, okay. I'm not usually good at reading situations, but I think y'all were feeling real emotions. But gifts are always good, and you see Myto just like drop down onto all fours and like looking for things. And I made things based off of what I saw, maybe that could help us out in this whole thing. It was a great setup in there. Yara hooked me up. It was, oh, sorry. Just so y'all know, I'm not happy that happened to you, but I am happy. And you see Myto reach down with these two. Was it?
Oh, under her breath, Tom mutters, "That makes one of us."
And Myto just pretends like they don't hear that, and looks up from down below where Gabriel had started trying to help clean up things. Oh, Gabriel, I made this for you. It should fit right around your forearm, and then you just feel like these like air suction just goes around your forearm.
I'd like to think that Gabriel was in the midst of like picking something up, like his arm was reaching down, and you like crouched down right by him and just clicked it shut over his forearm, and he's like, what is this?
So, I saw that. So you did something really cool with that shield, but I feel like you could have used something offensive during that phase. So what this does is, and they kind of look around, and they pick up like a little laser gun, electric laser gun, that they had, and they shoot it right at your forearm.
Ah!
And you just feel that gauntlet just start shaking and absorb. It turns warm a little bit, and then you see one notch on it go up. So, I figured out a way for you to hold energy, any type of energy. It could be heat, it could be electricity, it could even be souls. I haven't tried that one yet, but
Okay.
and it's like looking around in here. So this button right by that elbow joint, if you press it, you can release energy. So you can store it, or you can shoot small little forces of power out.
Gabriel's curiosity gets the better of him, and he pivots slightly, like steps forward away from you, Myto, and presses the button.
And you just see like this like blue ring of energy just kind of like puff straight up into the air.
That is mighty handy, Myto. This is really kind of you. Thank you for
Yeah.
making this for me.
Of course. But so, and then I thought, okay, synergy, because you and Carmen, you helped out Carmen. Carmen didn't think she needed help, but then you stepped in, but then you had to admit it. Anyways, I can run through the whole thing, and then they like scramble through this like pile of scrap metal, and like Myto picks up this like bangle, and it's like, Carmen, this is for you. Pretty fashion forward, right?
Yeah, nifty gifty.
Yeah, so go ahead and before I put it on, and Myto like flips it open to the inside, and it says, it's okay to be messy. And I inscribed that in there just for you. Well, Stitches did, and Stitches like puts up a little claw. But here's a bangle. And this should help you. You know, well, here, you just put it on. And he like tries to slip it over your wrist. Cool. Do you know how to use your powers yet?
So far, it seems kind of like an energy thing that's just sort of happening. So I'm gonna call that like an energetic yes, but like a physical like no.
Okay. Well, the next time you feel overwhelmed and you just want to get your frustrations out, make a fist and just hold it straight out, and that bangle should take all of the static electricity in you and let you focus on one thing. That way you don't just kind of, cause all sorts of chaos. But also, yeah, just also be mindful that I don't know you very well. However, I think, and this is coming from someone who really keeps their emotions behind a door, but you may need to try to learn to be more honest with yourself when it comes to emotions. But I'm not a therapist. I have my PhD in biology, but just something to think about. Yeah, I'm sorry for overstepping if I did, but at least it's a cute bangle for you.
I think Carmen feels some type of way, but a gift is a gift. So she's trying to be mindful of Myto's boundaries. He's someone who sticks to himself. She bends down to pet my god, Stitches. Stitches. Oh my god, I just had a complete brain fart. Goes down to pet Stitches, and then looks at you and says, "Thank you." And while petting Stitches with one hand, I think she wants to test this out. So she makes a fist and points it at the stone cube to see what will happen.
Roll Unleash your powers.
While you do this, you see Stitch's fur kind of like expand with static electricity.
Static? That's so cute. 6 on the die. Oh god. I need to just check if I add anything. Give me a sec, so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Do I add a modifier to unleash your powers?
I believe it's plus freak.
Plus freak, you got it. So that's a 7.
Okay, that is a 7, and just to be sure, so you can decide either do you want to mark a condition or do you want me to tell you how the effect is unstable or temporary?
Tell me.
Okay.
Yeah.
You make that fist, and almost with a roll of an eye, Carmen's like, this didn't work last time, I don't know why. And right as before you even ask the question, you just feel that apathetic like eye roll, your eyes shoot forward as you feel and see sparks of electricity start forming, kicking out from your knuckles. And as you shoot it out, you let go of that fist because you weren't expecting it to be so powerful. And as you let it go, before you're able to reel it in, you see it start going to that stone, but as you unclench your fist, it starts to make a U-turn. And Gabriel, you feel your hand almost shoot up as you see this shot of electric energy shoot through the air and almost get inhaled by your gauntlet. As you see, bloop, bloop, and two more of those little battery lifelines shoot up on it as the electric energy disappears from the air.
Yes, exactly. You did it.
I think Gabriel exchanges a look with you, Carmen.
Pretty cool, right? Next time, just make sure you're not touching anybody when you try to shoot it, and like looks over at Stitches, and Stitches is just like a big puffball. Stitches is fine. Just I don't know the extent of your powers, so I don't know the transference energy.
Got it.
Looks like we'll be working together a lot then, Carmen.
Like a little collab, but like IRL.
And you see Myto just pat around their body, and they're like, Orúno, come here. And then they reach through one of their pockets, and they pull out this like small little, it almost looks like a monocle, and it's a lens, and it's almost built of like two different metals on each side, and you just see Myto go, this is for you.
Thank you. What is it?
Oh, sorry. Yes. This one was really cool. So at first, if you just whip it, if you just go down with it, it turns into a huge telescope. Well, it's not really huge. It's still that, but you'll be able to see long distance. Try it. Just whip it down.
Then you see Orúno just shake.
Yep. And it just extends out, and then you can, and then try to just see the detail over on your brother laying down at the stone.
Then it just raises it to look toward William.
And you can almost count the dark curls on William's hair. Okay. William, can you do the thing real quick?
You just see William's like head kind of push up. What?
Pretend like you're about to play a prank on someone real quick.
Okay, and he just goes and falls his head back, and to four of you, you lose sight of William.
And Orúno, through that lens, you can still see Orúno. So can you see your brother?
Yeah, I can. And you see him just sort of like from a kind of like looking between what he sees on it and what he sees outside of it.
Yeah. So it's not a 100% exact replication, but it can detect different types of energies and temperatures. So you'll be able to see your brother even, from far away, and when he's disappeared, and if he's right beside you or far away.
Thank you, Myto.
You're welcome. I can also fashion it into glasses if you'd like. But I didn't know your fashions.
I guess glasses could be useful.
Okay, cool. Let me get that back, and we'll get you something. Do you like these? You like?
Sure.
And
And you see Orúno has a moment where it's just, and he actually turns and does a pan around the space while looking through it, aiming to end in the room where you were, to see if like there's anything that he would see through the scope of that nefarious room from which you seem to have emerged with so much.
GM does.
Yeah, so I will say that what you see in there, you can see a room and you can it's almost like everything kind of turns foggy because now you're looking through things. And it's not that you can't see through this wall. but it seems like something has kind of fogged your lens over. So in very blurry vision, you see huge computer screens and cords leading from the floor to the ceiling and from wall to wall, but a clear picture not very well.
He just has a moment where he hands it back to Myto.
Well, you hang on to it, and I'll fashion a mechanism for you to wear if you'd like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tries to.
Yep, and it just and Tom, Stitches actually made something for you. And you see Stitches like rifle through all these like little gadgets, and they pick up something you can't really tell and run it over to you and lay right down by your feet. This kind of ornate leather bound satchel with a big hole through it and a few metal clasps. It's for your stick.
Oh. Thank you. And Tom will lean down and pick it up and put it on over her shoulder. And will take the stick and put it in the. Is it like a holder, like so it can lay horizontal on it? I'm trying to like picture it in my head.
Just however you would like it, but yeah, I just kind of pictured it like you kind of put it over and it's like a bow staff holder or something, or like a sword holder.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Then the stick is now on my back, and I think in all of this chaos, Tom hasn't necessarily noticed it. I'm not sure if anyone else has either, but her stick has actually grown a little bit. It is originally was literally just a stick. I think we've all established it was just a stick.
The stick.
Yeah, a stick, like a flimsy little stick that you toss off your driveway to make sure that your cars don't run over it and break it up into smaller sticks. But now it is a little bit thicker, and has grown a little bit longer, and isn't as twisty, I guess. And it's a very, very slight change. And to an observer who has been noticing, hold on to this thing, the more and more it has slowly started to shift and change.
Carmen have noticed that since she picked it up and gave it to you?
Probably. Absolutely.
Okay. Think she like sees it in its new case, and it's like,
yeah.
Is that a different stick?
No, I don't think so. And Tom will like shimmy it around so that now it's across the front of me, and I look at it and it has changed. And Tom's brow furrows and she says, "That's strange."
Tom.
What?
Have you ever seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, goodness.
Oh, no.
Okay, because there's this stick in Guardians of the Galaxy, and if that's what your stick can do, your stick is great. Yeah, the stick.
Well, it's not alive.
Oh, it like changed. So like maybe it's like, like butterflies, they're like sleeping first.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I don't.
It was just a thought. Like I'm just throwing it up there. It would be cool if your stick like came with a bigger stick.
And Tom kind of like holds it and looks at it and just says, "You're not alive, are you? That can't be why I was given this. No? Okay. And I'll just like toss the whole thing back over my back.
Yeah.
I think like Orúno for some reason has a connection in his mind, even though it makes no sense, where he's looking at the stick while Tom is talking to it, waiting to see if it responds. And for some reason his eyes slowly move to Stitches. Like just having the like whole experiment, the word experiment echoing in his head. And then the stick is gone and he just has a moment of
And Myto with a burst of excitement. Oh, let me show you the coolest part of what Stitch has made. And can you flip it back around?
Sure. And she does so.
Yeah. This Velcro part, it can expand.
What do you mean?
So like if you find other sticks that you want to collect, you can also put it in this holster.
Cool. Thank you. And I think Tom looks confused because she doesn't think that stick collection is a part of her power suite or whatever. And she has like a very polite, maybe forced chuckle about it. Because she's still like slowly calming down.
Yeah.
She says, yeah, thank you. You were observing us. Well, yeah, all of us. Weren't you? Do you know what did that? And she gestures to the closed doors. Were you able to see what I can do?
And you see Myto take a step back, and their demeanor just kind of drops. I'm here if you need someone to talk to about what happened in there. But and then Myto leans a little bit closer. If you think you should talk to Gabriel about what happened.
Oh, well, yes, but that's not what I'm talking about. I just mean like my power.
Oh, yes. And then Myto like almost flips back into analytical mode. Yes, I saw the front wall, it exploded, but then the roof flew off, and then you made the ground shake. It was amazing.
The ground shook?
Yes. It looked like 5 different things happened to the 5 different walls. It was absolutely stunning.
I wouldn't call it that. Did you feel it too? And Tom looks at the other three of you.
Yeah. That's why I was worried about you.
Oh yeah, most
Because
definitely.
everything.
Like an earthquake?
pretty much.
Exactly
Yeah.
that.
Like an earthquake.
You okay? And Gabriel inches closer.
That's a lot.
And just so you know, I was monitoring your vitals, and as your heart rate picked up, it almost like coincided with how much the room was shaking.
So you're saying I need to have a panic attack to activate my powers?
We would need to run the experiment again, but I don't think Irosima's around to.
That can be a conversation for another time, perhaps once we've all
Yeah,
rested, recuperated, get some shut eye.
I'm not trying to repeat
thank
that necessarily again.
maybe a more controlled comfortable experience perhaps in the future. But we can talk about that later. You can see
speaking
that
of
Gabriel's
talking-
like,
Yeah. Oh, well, sorry. One more thing. And you see Stitches, bring over those come here. And Stitches kind of like brings over these 5 little small, almost gem-like contraptions. Okay, this is gonna sound weird, but if you lick it and then stick it back here, and then Myto licks it and sticks it back there, it'll let us communicate with each other. Try it out.
Do we have to lick it?
You need some sort of wet substance, so Stitches can offer his tongue.
I'm good.
Well,
I'm good. Thank you.
that's quite. I like to imagine that after everything Carmen and Gabriel's been through, we are having the same reactions to things. We're like, that's okay.
That's good.
And you see Myto just like jet across the arena real quick, and it's like, I'm whispering right now. Can y'all hear me?
Okay.
So all you have to do is tap it, and it'll turn off. So you have your privacy. But I don't ever want to be away from y'all when we are underwater anymore. So it would have been really cool if I could talk to y'all while I was up there, and I could tell you what I was seeing, and then I could be like your eyes in the sky, and I could help you. So yeah. And then Myto like sprints back, and they're like out of breath. Sorry, Gabriel. What were you saying?
Gabriel taps the little communicator off and looks over and says, what was I saying? Oh, just maybe we can revisit training, experimenting, trials once everyone's feeling a little more rested. Yes, and he's like looking at the rest of the folks, but most of the time his like big brown eyes are holding on Tamsyn and is consistently flitting back to them to ensure that she's okay throughout this.
I think this whole
Yep.
time Tom has been seeming very out of it, and I think this is something that Gabriel knows.
Mhm.
I don't think Tom's panic attacks are super common back home. Definitely more common when she was younger. But I think as she is now a young adult, has learned what triggers her and generally how to avoid getting herself into that situation in the first place. But obviously this is different.
Mm.
But I think Gabriel recognizes that very distant, blank stare, and the fatigue that like comes crashing down after, as you're coming down from the height of a panic.
Mhm.
And Tom, I think,
Yes, I'm sure.
to say, I'm wiped, and frankly, if my powers require that, I do not want to do that ever again. And I would, our family can find another way that I can help them, because I will not be doing it again. Thank you.
Yes,
On that-
I
Sorry, go ahead.
Gabriel says, yes, I think we just need time to recuperate, to rest, and come back to this with clear eyes, clear minds, and you see that Gabriel's at a loss for words. He always knows the right thing to say, but even he's lost in this moment.
I think kind of overhearing Tom say that, Carmen is like, and when we reconvene after a little nappy poo, I think that's something that we should probably revisit, all about the Cuzzy vibes, right? All about the shared experience. We're now in the group chat, for it. But I think we should double click into this whole ask in general, the non-consensual nature of it, and what it is we're doing this for. I get it. We want to save the environment. I always, of course, care about all of this stuff, our ancestral home. Love that for us. Want to make sure we're doing our part. But not to be a downer, but doesn't this all feel like kind of manipulative? Sorry, that's awkward.
Like you said, Carmen, I think this is and Gabriel's looking at everybody, and I think he senses the heightened tension in the room. We should definitely revisit this, for sure. But maybe we should find some space to rest for tonight. I mean, once we, I don't even know where Irasima is, and what we're meant to do after all this. Maybe return to the surface, get some sleep. I don't know.
When I was in the room, I just yelled for Yara. Yara? Hey,
And
seems
you
like
don't hear anything.
seems like things out here operate a little differently than in my cozy little experiment place.
Did they tell us how or where we are going to sleep tonight? Also shivers a little bit, because when in the box, she discarded her cardigan, which she normally wears over, or she was wearing over her shirt. But the cardigan is nowhere to be seen. And I think Tom is finally, as she's again coming down, starting to feel like, man, it's actually kind of chilly. I want to go inside.
I think Orúno is probably just gonna look around, see if William is visible, if he's still asleep in this spot, and if not, he'll take the little lens that Myto gave him, just look through it without extending it to see if it spots William.
And you, before you looked around, you didn't see him, but as you pull up the little monocle, you see William sound asleep in that same spot.
I could try to ask William, but he's asleep, and honestly, I don't know that I want to wake him.
Love to like hopefully brainstorm somewhere that we can sleep because I'm not really like an outdoor like camping kind of girl, even if it's underwater. So maybe we can. Can we find Granny, Miss Irasima, or? And she looks kind of like at Myto because, as far as like Carmen's concerned, like Myto's the most connected to like what's going on.
And you just see Myto has been like working on something. It's like, I don't know. But here, Orúno, and there's like a little, kind of like a little attachment that goes from the earpiece toward around right here. If you could just hook that monocle in there, it'll just be like a little visor.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But Carmen, we could just leave the way that we came.
Well, I feel like I'm down for that, but like Orúno, do we need to like do you want to carry William? Like I don't want to wake him, but
I'll do it.
Okay.
Orúno is gonna go to is moving toward William, but pauses next to Tom and sort of awkwardly has a moment where quietly just says, "Hey,
Yeah.
I know we don't really know each other, but I get it if you're scared. I'm scared too. Just wanted you to know that you're not the only one scared."
Thanks. And Tom will offer a hug.
He sort of awkwardly has again, you see a moment of hesitation first, very slight of himself before he goes in. And there's a deep breath within the hug. before he sort of lets go a little awkwardly and offers a quick little smile and turns and goes toward William to try the best he can to pick him up without waking him and carry him with the group.
You touch William, and you see the other eye that's not covered by the monocle now sees him as well, as just he phases into view and snaps into a eyes half awake seated position, almost anime like little thing of drool connecting him from the stone he was just on as it just drops onto his lap. Well, but how long was I asleep for? Joe, that's
Just-
gross.
Just
What?
just a few minutes.
Oh,
Are you-
okay. Is it time to go?
I think so. We're thinking about getting some rest. I don't know if you
Rest!
know,
Yes! Oh, that was my job! And he sits up at attention and kind of pushes himself up and then salutes again and like a little foo. I'm supposed to lead you to the house. Well, I say the house like it's this really cool thing, but really it's just like a guest house. It's only like 2 blocks away, and usually the fighters are there, and that's where they take naps. But that's where you guys will be sleeping before the send-off festival tomorrow. And so you guys each have a room in there, and I can lead the way. And he does this like little like march
So
before stopping and going like, "Oh yeah," and just turns to the rest of the group.
I think
so we're not
sorry,
going
a lot of
back
information.
up there.
No, tomorrow's the send-off festival. It's this
Okay.
huge party we all throw, and there's cotton candy and popcorn and like and kind of like looks you up and down. I don't know, rides for the kids. And it's like this huge little party where we celebrate all the people you guys that are gonna help and figure out what's going on in the cave.
A party! Great! A party! Folks, that sounds like, ooh, we're going to need that shut-eye. William, please, lead the way.
And he kind of looks to see one hand coming back up again, unless anybody says anything to him. And he just starts marching towards the doors you guys came in and pushes the button, like has to do a little leap to get it, but kind of jumps up and leaps, and you guys see not the double doors Myto went through, but the opposite double doors you guys had originally walked in, as Myto just starts walking you guys a couple blocks, and I'm guessing Orúno walks out, Myto and Carmen, you walk out, and the siblings kind of trailing behind.
If I may,
Mhm.
as everybody's leaving, Orúno sort of lags to be the last one to leave. He kind of has a moment where, as everybody's leaving, passing the doors, he looks over his shoulder to the destroyed box in the Colosseum, and just not really knowing what may or may not happen, he sort of raises his hand very discreetly on the side of his body toward the box and tries to like make a gesture as he is literally just wondering.
Roll Unleash Your Powers.
It'll be a 10.
Okay. With the 10, you kind of let everybody, even though you were in the front, you kind of just keep the door open as everybody trails off, and you kind of let the double doors start to close just a bit. And with your other hand, you remember the ground shaking and what Myto said about the heartbeat being in tandem. And and as you do that, you see pieces of the dirt and stone coming back together to form like a 6x6, 8x8 inch little block of stone. As with a 10, you're able to put 2 and 2 together as you see the stone fall because you couldn't hold on to it long enough because it's not yours innately. As you were able to put two and two together, that Tamsyn could control the earth and stone around her.
His hand sort of he's sort of frozen looking at this and having the feeling of sort of the connection to the putting the pieces together. And as they fall, he's just brings his hand back down, looks at the Colosseum one last time, and then just exits before the doors fully close, catching up with the group.
And you catch up to the group, and William leads you guys to this quaint little, like, one-story home, and it's just you walk in, kitchen and dining room, bypasses most of it. You see some, like, snacks on the table, similar to the ones that they had at the last house you guys were supposed to stay in above the sea, and leads you down this hallway of rooms, points out the room for Carmen first. You see Carmen go into the room, points out the room for Myto. Myto goes in, points out the room for Orúno, gives you a big hug, starting at one of the legs, and then I'm guessing you go to give him, and he kind of reaches up and gives you the hug before you go into your own room. And then, with a big yawn and outstretched arms, taps two rooms that are right next to one another, barely any wall in between the two. And this will be your guys' rooms. I try to get the ones closest together because you guys are siblings, and you guys, like, I don't know, siblings like to talk a lot. I don't know. I'm just gonna. That's madam. If you need me, I'm a go. And you see him, like, half holding on to the wall to keep himself propped up, as you see his tiny little hands just go around the corner of his own door before you hear it click, leaving you two in the hallway for a moment.
Hey, Gabs,
Hey.
can we talk?
I was just gonna say I was gonna help settle you down, maybe talk a little bit before we head to bed. Come, let's head to your room and make sure to turn off your group chat.
It's already off.
All right, go. He'll follow you.
And we walk into the room. Is there any, like, stuff for us, or are we just gonna sleep in the same clothes that we had coming down here? Because we didn't bring anything from the other house.
There's, like, little sets of pajamas. There's, like, a couple different sets for if it's a kid, if it's, like, a smaller adult. You've got, like, little, like, things of coral and some seashells printed on them, like one on the little pocket. But there's a few sets of pajamas for different sizes of people, because, again, a guest house and they don't know who's going to be staying there. But besides that, like, on the little nightstand and a bed, that's about it.
And clarifying question that you can probably
Mhm.
just cut out unless the audience may or may not be confused as well. But yes, clarifying question. Are we
Mhm.
actually, like, underwater? Like, are we swimming around right now? Or is there, like, it's like a magic under the water, but
Yeah.
we're still breathing the air and we're not
Mhm.
like
It's
hair
like
going
when you guys came into the docks, there was, like, this entrance where you saw all the water draining out before, like, that other
Oh,
door
okay.
opened and you guys
Okay.
walked in.
Right. I remember. Okay. I think I'll just settle in and immediately go for whatever, like, comforter or something's on the bed and just, like, wrap it around my shoulders.
And Gabriel will sit opposite you, and as you're like wrapping yourself up in comforters, like he's pulling one edge further so that it like fully covers behind your shoulders, so you have nice and encased in comforter. And he just says that. So, what did you want to talk about? I know a lot just happened.
Yeah. And I also should make a note that we took our shoes off at the door because
Yes, we did.
shoes in bed.
No, we
No
do
shoes
not.
in bed. Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
So I need to make that very clear.
Very, very
Um,
important.
mhm. And Tom, I think, just kind of like settles into the bed and says, well, you know how some of you had like some kind of experience or something, like when we were gifted our powers, and you may have seen things or something. When I was given Dick, which I think Tom had taken the sling off of her back and is just kind of like leaning against the door or like leaning against the wall. I didn't see anything, and so it's confusing. I don't know. I felt I really didn't want to come across as being ungrateful.
No.
Or thinking that like I was upset with what I was given, but now that I know some things, don't know if this is ever something I would have wanted.
Hey. Hey, it's gonna be okay. All right. There's a lot of change. So much has happened today. It's overwhelming, it's terrifying. But there's nothing that this experience can do that can tear me from your side. Okay? You can tell me anything. I always tell you that, right? Tell me anything. Nothing will change this. He gestures to the both of you. Nothing will change this. Okay?
And Tom's already crying again. She turns to look you directly in the eyes. And she
Tom.
says, just very bluntly, is Mom mean to you?
Gabriel's at a loss for words. You rarely see him so frozen in place. Everything about him is so still. Why would you think she's mean to me?
It's what I saw in that box. Just memories, but where it was detached from myself.
Oh,
Memories of I don't think they were mine. I think they might have been yours. Just I just wanted to.
I don't think she's being mean to me, Tom. I don't think that's what it is. Sometimes I'm the older one, right? I'm the older brother. I'm the oldest sibling. Mom's just sometimes harder on me because I'm the older one. That's my responsibility, right? That's how parents usually are. You know how people always joke about that? Your first kid is like, we gotta do it. We gotta be like super strict to do everything right. That's all it is. I don't think Mom's being mean. It's just how she is. That's all.
And Tom's mind flashes back in an almost rapid fire, jagged, jilted manner as the memories of what she saw just an hour or two before replays in her mind. The difference in expression in her mother's face. The way that she looks at me versus the way that she looks at you. And comes back to the present. And Tom just sighs and says, there's being hard on your eldest. And there's whatever I saw. And I just... If there is... I don't know. And I think
Hey.
she just starts crying again.
Hey, Tom. Listen to me. Listen to your brother. Let's say family members are sometimes mean to me. Let's entertain that for a second. That changes nothing. Whatever that is it's just something. It's a burden I can bear.
But it shouldn't.
But you and I,
It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair.
I know. A lot of things are not fair, Tom. But I need you to know it's not your fault, okay? No, this has nothing to do with you.
I feel so guilty. Like, I know it's not my fault, but why should this be a burden that you have to carry by yourself? And I'm just sitting here like, I'm like, what, 25 and crying?
You could be any age and cry. Be any age and cry. There's a lot about everything that even I don't understand. Tom. I don't. Your brother doesn't have all the answers either. But I know we're good. And I know that even with all of this, that, maybe we're not alone and our cousins are maybe on a similar boat. And we're going to be okay. Right? Now, whatever you saw, whatever haunted you back in that box, let it go.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. All right?
Okay. I'll try.
I know it's
Yeah.
not easy.
She goes in for a hug.
And he happily receives it, holds you very tightly. I think there's a moment where we see Gabriel's face, and you can feel the warmth and the love emanating from him. He does not let you think for a second that any ounce of the love he's pouring into you falters in any sort of way. There's a moment where his face falls, and there's a shadow, a darkness that covers his eyes, and a concerned, fearful worry colors his brow as he furrows them. But he holds you, and after a moment of letting the darkness take over his face, he just leaves it, gives you a hug, and says, "And you need to not wear your outside clothes in the bed. So let's get you one of these." And he leans out, and I like to imagine they're folded onto the bed, some of these pajamas, and picks up the funniest patterned one that's definitely not Tamsyn's style. I think this would look very cute on you.
No.
Okay, I'm
And
teasing.
Tom feels a lot of the wound up anxieties melt away, but I think the worry and the fear and the guilt remain just beneath Tom's consciousness. And I think as the night draws on, I think the last thing that we see is Tom laying awake in bed, just staring at the ceiling. Those scenes and those memories replaying again, 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 again.
And as the camera pans back, we see everyone starting to fall asleep, and Tamsyn kind of just looking up to the ceiling, remembering the visions, remembering the hug just in her brother's arms. And we see the eyes begin to droop just for a moment. Orúno, can you roll me 2d6?
Terrifying.
Huh?
6.
6. Tamsyn's eyes finally close, and everyone enters dreamland or lack thereof. And Tamsyn, as your dreams begin to perk up and you see a scene begin to unfold in front of you, you see Orúno walking into this dream from the corner of your eye. And we are going to stop the episode there. For a moment, I don't know what's going on. But we will
That's a
find out
lie.
next
You
week.
know what's going on. That's a lie you're telling
That's
us.
a lie. I know nothing. We are going to... the look I'm getting.
In the words of Stitches.
I have been your lovely... I need to put the image of Stitches up right then. I have been your lovely storyteller, Kris, aka D&D Imposter. You can find me on this channel or a D&D Imposter making memes on just about any social media. And we are going to go backwards for player outros and where you can find them backwards from where we started, starting with Jay.
My name is Jay or Nala. My pronouns are they, them. I am everywhere at NalaWoo. That's actually not true. I'm just gonna restart. That's a lie. Hi everyone. My name is Nala or Jay. Go by both. My pronouns are they, them. I am on Twitter at NalaWoo and everywhere else at Nala Draws. If you want to look at my art, I am an art director and illustrator. I work full time doing freelance in the space. And I have worked on stuff like Apocalypse Keys and All the Witches I'm art directing for, and Coyote and Crow, and a lot of other really cool things that if you follow my social medias, you will know what all there is to know. Great wording, Jay. Besides art, I am a voice actor, sensitivity consultant, and actual play stream performer. You can see me on Last of Eden's Vices, is a VTM show that takes place in Providence, Rhode Island. I play a sad wet cat of a vampire named Erlyn. Z is not having a great time and didn't want to be a vampire in the first place. That's a super fun show. I'm not sure timing wise when this is all coming out, but our first season, as of recording this, we have wrapped our first season. So I'm very, very excited, and we're gonna be working on epilogues and a season 2 as well. So keep an eye out for that. And also, of course, the award-winning Itaewon by Night, another VTM show. Consisting of the first and only all Asian cast to play Vampire the Masquerade on stream. Takes place in Seoul, South Korea. And throw everything you know about VTM out the door because so did we. It's a super cool show. We have 2 seasons out. Go look for it. I play a girl boss who is very put together and is the opposite of Erlyn, and is a CEO and a venturer. So that's me. Handing it off to the best older brother that anyone could ever want, Val.
Oh, well, it's me, Big Brother. Hi, everyone. I'm Valiant Dorian. I use he and his pronouns. You can find me all around the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Auto Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. And tonight, I had the distinct pleasure of playing the Scion Playbook, your Big Brother of the Hour, Gabriel Joe, who uses he, they pronouns. I'm a TTRPG AP performer. I am a TTRPG talk show host, streamer, and game designer. You can find me on Saturdays on Transplanar RPG at 8 p.m. Eastern playing Sayir, who is the misbeloved twin brother of the Chosen One. We do fun stuff over there on the Chaos Protocol, so please go check out Transplanar RPG. I'm sure there are a bunch of other AP projects that will be announced by the time this is out that you can check me out on. I also host a TTRPG talk show called Dicey Banter that goes live on Mondays for me. Mondays for y'all. Actually, Tuesday mornings for me, where I talk to TTRPG creators of all backgrounds and of all skill sets over on Dicey Banter. And I'm also making my first ever TTRPG called The Beast Within, a action RPG that's narrative first, reminiscent of 80s and 90s grunge fighting games about beasts. If that is your jam, go on and check out The Beast Within. It'll probably be available for pre-order, and you'll have access to the quick start guide by the time this is out. And I'm going to pass it over to, I believe, Victor.
Hi, everybody. Victor here. I had the pleasure to play Orúno Munín off the book of the Doom, which I know sounds hilarious. You can find me at Victor_the Storyweaver on TikTok, and from there you can stalk onward to all the other things that I have placed as resource on that profile. Little thing, I'm an actor mainly, or that's the profession I've been doing for over 20 years. And fun fact, if you happen to have access to ABC on May 16th and the show Station 19, I'm going to be guest starring a character. So if you want to mark it on your calendar, that is going to be a little appearance that I'm going to have. I haven't had one in a while on television. So if you want to see me do what I do and what I trained to do for over 2 decades, then you can do that. And that's about it for me. So thank you. Passing it on to one of the other two wonderful people that comes next. My dice roll low and I don't remember.
It's me, and I will be tuning in May 15th, 16th, 15th, ABC. 16th. I will be tuning in. I will also be called. My name is also Danny Quach. You can find me all over the internet at Brutal Dan. That's BR0TALDAN. I'm on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. By day, I'm a professional marketer. By night, I am the internet's emotional support himbo. You can please check out my newsletter / blog, Digital Thickness with 2Cs.substack.com, where I try to make information about marketing and social media and digital communities accessible for anybody, as well as talk a little bit about my own projects and pop culture through a queer lens. So check that out. And tonight I had the pleasure of playing Myto Bui. Their pronouns are they, any, with my little companion sidekick Stitches, who is a puffball right now because of Carmen. Speaking of Carmen, hey Claire.
Hey Stitches. Okay. My name is Claire. My pronouns are she, her. I have been playing Carmen Pereira today, the Star Playbook, and I'm just gonna be spending my time for the foreseeable future waiting to watch Station 19 on May 16th.
Yes.
There we go. I'm going to siphon cable so I can make sure I can watch that, steal it from my neighbors, allegedly. And when I'm not siphoning cable, you can find me on Twitch, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere at Clare_witchbaby, where I like do stuff sometimes. You can come or not. It's really whatever.
And Tabletop Tempest does not condone siphoning cable from your television. Whatever my players do outside of their free time is Yup, looking at Claire.
Allegedly.
For lovely Story Master. Thank you guys all for being with us, and we will see you at the festival in episode 6. See you guys next week.